This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jeanelle Slade.
And I'm Jay Cohn. Another turn today in the ongoing debate over Montana's $227 million budget hole.
Just one day after Governor Steve Bullock's budget director said lawmakers have tentatively agreed on a three-pronged solution, some Republican leaders say not so fast.
The proposed framework to eliminate the budget crisis, one part spending cuts, one part tax increases, and one part budget transfers.
But some Republican House leaders say any solution or deal is far from settled. In fact, House Majority Leader Ron Ely says it's up to Governor Bullock to come forward with the spending cuts he plans to make and any other steps that would be made prior to a special legislative session. House Taxation Chairman Jeff Essman of Billings said he opposes any tax changes. He says if Congress passes national tax reform, that could mean more state tax revenue. So it's premature to act now.
The Bullock administration says it still hopes that a deal can be reached this month to avoid having to balance the budget entirely with spending cuts.
Many Montanans are concerned about what the budget cuts will mean for health services across the state.
And tonight, a chance to speak out. Q2's David Jay joins us now with more on a legislative listening session here in Billings tonight. David?
Jay, Jeanelle, many say they're concerned with $240 million set to be cut from the budget. About $105 million would be cut from the state's general fund, which would lead to $135 million lost in federal funds to health services.
That these services not be cut because I really need it.
But that budget cut is going to take people out.
We're as lean and as tight on everything else as we can possibly be.
About 25 out of the 120 testified tonight against making cuts to the state budget. The ARC Montana and Parents Let's Unite for Kids hosted the last of 4 listening sessions across Montana. They say case management, early intervention for children with disabilities, and optional dental for dentures would be eliminated. 8 legislators came to hear from constituents.
There is still hope that the legislature and the governor can work together to find better ways to balance the budget. We need to balance the budget, but this is not the place to start. Tonight they are hearing from people who have disabilities, and they're hearing from family members whose loved ones have disabilities.
Representative Doug Carey asked for suggestions, including consolidating services where possible. The group did not like hearing that, and Representative Kelly McCarthy told them lawmakers from both parties are working together on the budget. Jay, Jeanelle?
All right, thanks, David.
More than 1 year after a Sydney man was gunned down on the job, his killer is headed to prison.
Family members of the victim say he was murdered by a total stranger and never saw it coming. 36-year-old Ray Hanson sentenced in Richland County District Court today to 100 years at the Montana State Prison. Prosecutors actually recommended 100 years with 30 years suspended, but the judge declined to suspend any time. Hanson admitted that he shot and killed Terry Klein.
Q2's Asia Gore spoke with the victim's son about today's sentencing. Asia.
Jay and Jeanelle, the family of the victim tells me they had never heard the name Ray Hanson until the day of the murder. And the family also believes Terry Klein didn't know his killer either. Hanson entered a construction site in August of 2016 and climbed onto the excavator that Klein was operating. Klein was working to repair a breached irrigation canal when he was shot in the head without warning. Detectives determined the shooting was unprovoked and the victim likely did not see it coming. Hanson says he doesn't remember much from that day, and his defense attorneys blame Hanson's drug use for his actions. But Klein's family refuses to accept that excuse.
Dad was the kind of guy that he was willing to help anyone. He was more or less the guy everybody could go to for any sort of advice. I don't believe you can use the drugs as any kind of an excuse or explanation or reason for any of this. This is the kind of thing that if it's in you, it's in you. You know, maybe the drugs brought it out a little easier.
Hanson's sentence has no parole restriction, meaning he could be granted parole in 25 years. Jay and Jeanelle?
All right, thank you, Asia. In Washington today, House Republicans unveiled their tax overhaul plan.
It proposes tax cuts worth as much as $1.5 trillion. The president is on board, but some Republicans and the Democrats have major objections.
Mola Lengi has the details for us from Capitol Hill.
Republicans call their tax plan a game changer.
We're making things so simple. We're making things so simple that you can do your taxes on a form the size of a postcard.
The House GOP plan shrinks the number of tax brackets from 7 to 4. It also doubles the standard deduction to $12,000 for individuals and $24,000 for married couples, and increases the child tax credit to $1,600.
It ensures, that every American at every level gets to keep more of their hard-earned dollars.
President Trump says it is a win for the middle class.
We are giving them a big, beautiful Christmas present in the form of a tremendous tax cut.
But the biggest winners are U.S. businesses, which would see their corporate tax rate drop from 35 to 20%. The bill doesn't touch popular 401k contributions, and charitable giving remains basically unchanged, but it would eliminate deductions on medical expenses and student loans.
What they give you with one hand, they take away with the other.
The measure also targets state and local tax deductions, hurting states like New York, New Jersey, and California.
A middle-class person who lives in a high-tax area is not going to benefit as much as a middle-class person who lives in an area with very low taxes.
That issue could jeopardize GOP support in high-tax states. The plan cannot clear Congress without the backing of nearly every Republican. Mola Lenghi, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
The House Ways and Means Committee is expected to take up the tax reform bill next week.
President Trump says he'd like to have that bill passed the House by Thanksgiving.
Montana's congressional delegation also offering its take on the Republican bill. Representative Greg Gianforte supports the bill. He says Montanans need tax relief, and this plan does that. He says, quote, the plan allows Montanans to keep more of what they earn. A typical family of 4 earning $59,000 will receive a $1,182 tax cut.
Montana's senior Senator Jon Tester is part of the bill's next hurdle once it makes it over to the Senate. As it stands now, though, he is not buying it. Quote, we need real tax reform that seriously addresses our $20 trillion debt, not handouts to billionaires that are put on the nation's credit card. Tester says he wants to hear from Montanans who have ideas on how to cut taxes without adding to the debt.
In other news, did the Democratic National Committee rig the primaries in favor of Hillary Clinton? Well, some key Democrats say yes.
Very quickly, Senator, do you agree with the notion that it was rigged?
Yes.
All right.
Senator Elizabeth Warren didn't hesitate to convict her own party's committee. The question came up after former DNC chairwoman Donna Brazil's book excerpts were released this week. They detailed the DNC's financial turmoil during the election and the role that the Clinton campaign played in aiding it financially. Brazil's book claims the Clinton campaign did rig the presidential nominating process by entering into an agreement to control day-to-day operations at the DNC.
More snow on the way for Billings, and that means the time for snow removal quickly approaching. Now, over the summer, the City Council agreed to spend money for residential plowing. That plowing will be contracted out and will begin the same time as normal city crews begin to plow. That's usually after the city receives 3 or 4 inches on the roads. Residential plowing will start on one end of town and will then work through the city. Then following the next storm, the plowing will start in a different part of town to keep things fair. Private contractors will plow all the residential roads with the exception of private roadways. Residents are asked they can help to move their vehicles off the road when it snows. That'll help the plows do their job better. And residents are reminded that the snow will be plowed to the sides of the street. The contractors will not be responsible for snow removal.
And turning to weather, Bob, it appears once the snow starts, it's not going to stop for a while.
Oh, yeah, we've got a big storm coming our way. It's coming in. It's got plenty of moisture. It's coming from the Pacific. Let me show you what it's going to do. As you can see, the areas highlighted in pink, that's a winter storm warning. That starts tonight at midnight and goes till Sunday, 6 a.m. And what we're going to see here is 15 to 25 inches of snow. Some local amounts, maybe even higher than that. And the words underneath that, travel difficult to impossible. That comes from the Billings National Weather Service, because that's how bad this is going to be. If your travel plans take you to Bozeman or maybe to Missoula to watch football, you'll be running right through one of those areas that's highlighted in pink. Plus, we also have a winter storm watch for places, basically Harleton to Big Timber. Could see 7 to 10 inches of snow there with amounts up to 15. Here's what's going to happen. That low pressure cell there is going to start moving snow into Montana. It's going to stick around throughout most of the day. So how much more snow are we going to get out of this? Well, by the time the weekend is here, we're looking at maybe 3.78 inches of snow by Saturday night. Other places like Livingston will see over 10, maybe 8 to 9 inches in Bozeman. Missoula could see maybe over 6 inches of snow. It's going to be a big snowstorm. We'll have more about that coming up in a few more minutes.
Thanks, Bob.
Still ahead on tonight's 10 o'clock news, health insurance protects your family, but what about your four-legged family?
And later in sports tonight, high school football playoffs kick into high gear this weekend. Casey zeroes in on the top matchups.
You're watching MTN News with Jay Cohn and Jeanelle Slade. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire and sports with Scott Green.